Hello there and welcome back to a very special episode of Triton Squadron, where I, Brian, old host returned from the dead, are joined by our main cast of our amazing fan film, Shadows of the Order. So let's go introduce ourselves, starting with Rowan.
Hi, I'm Rowan. I play Hellcart.
Hi, I'm Mina. Wait, no, I'm Bianca, and I play Mina.
Uh-oh.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and I play Tylea.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I play Yavez.
Hi, I'm Miguel, and I play TK1337.
Hi, I'm Jake, and I play Seth.
Hi, I'm Shane. I play Reiko.
Yes, there have been many times where we're referring to you guys, and I do full on just call you guys Halkard and Mina and...
Yeah, apparently Bianca went full method actor on this one. She's like, excuse me, I need to just embody the role for the next few months.
Honestly, it's probably because of her makeup process. It's all that time already for
So ingrained.
Okay, well, first question, I think the most obvious is, how did you guys hear about the fan film? Like, I know, like, Ryan, Miguel, Shane, like, you guys are pretty involved with Star Wars Club and stuff. But for the rest of you guys, how did you guys hear about it? Prepare for the audition or something like that?
I actually did not get involved in the Star Wars Club until like the fan film and like the lightsaber stuff. And I actually found out about this from Anish because I ran into him at Sun God. Yeah.
I saw a QR code, kind of actually just downstairs, and I scanned the QR code because I was like, ooh, Star Wars, I like Star Wars, and that sounded fun. And for the audition, we had to do a monologue, and so I remember I was scrolling on, like, monologue ideas for the longest time.
Oh yeah, how do you guys, like, pick your monologues? 'Cause
What monologues did you guys all do?
I know, like, Shane did Luthans from Andor. You did something where it was like you were like sitting on a desk and you were looking very intensely. Cause like, okay, cause the one thing that I remember the most from Catherine's audition was like, she was like staring very intensely. Oh, it's from Westworld, right?
Westworld,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what it was.
It was, I loved Westworld. I honestly couldn't remember the monologue now, but it was the main character in Westworld. She was, I mean, spoilers for Westworld, I guess, but she was talking to the main antagonist. Oh, shit. This is broad. She was speaking to the main antagonist, and she was, kind of threatening him. And so I asked Brian ahead. I was like, hey, can I stare at you very intently?
Yeah. And it worked, and I think that worked for the character too. And then, Rowan?
I found out about the film through the QR code. I passed it like 5 times on the way to class, and on my 6th time I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do this because I've been participating in the lightsaber hangouts for a bit. For my monologue for audition, I just went to like top7monologues.com, but half of them were Shakespeare, so that wouldn't work. So I just picked the most convenient and good sounding monologue. Yeah.
What was it?
I do not remember. I think it was about a lady trying to sell her house.
I feel like that's like a classic,
Yeah.
Like, it's always, like, the lady trying to sell the house. There's also, like, the I ate them. Like that one that, like, everyone talks about. Like, I ate the divorce papers.
Oh, no.
I know everyone talks about that one. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. I mean, they're like, it's like...
They're, like, really out there.
No, because, like, the monologues that typically are put out there is, like, 9 times out of 10, if you're an actor and you want to have a monologue, right? You're like, I need to get this job. Let me give every emotion the gods have given to man in 20 seconds. And so the plot of the monologue is always, like, you're getting a divorce and your dog died, but oh boy, your kid just got into college and you're gonna go on a date and they're very kind, but also you're very nervous. And like, it's just like they're checking off boxes of like, okay, I played nervous and I played angry and I played grief stricken and overjoyed, right? Like,
It's a checkbox.
yeah, exactly. It's like they pick every single thing to be like, how can I just swing back and forth rapidly to show that I'm an actor. I can act, right? Like that kind of stuff.
Well, Bianca, what was yours? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I feel like I was yelling or something, but I don't really remember. I just like Googled monologues and just the same page always comes up and I picked one.
Was also the QR code?
No, I
Or-
found it in the Star Wars Discord.
Nice. And Miguel didn't have an audition
No.
because Miguel just had the armor but
Cheater.
I think that's a very good decision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't have a choice. Shane approached me during kickoff, and he was like, "By the way, you're in the film. You got the Stormtrooper armor." And I'm like, "Okay, I guess so."
And I think it worked out beautifully. I think you guys at the end, boom, it's like
This man is going to break everyone's heart
Yeah.
in the theater. Like, they're going to watch the movie and they're just like, oh, he said the line.
Oh wait, we can talk about spoilers. Yeah, it's the very last scene, or no, it's the second to last scene where 1337 is chasing Mina on the beach, and like they like have like an exchange. It was like emotional peak, culmination of. I mean, for me, it was a straight like 16, 18 hours of shooting the whole day.
Not to mention her makeup.
Yeah.
The makeup, the beach.
Yeah, Ryan and I
It
were
was.
there all day.
Yeah, it was sandy.
I was there for most of the day, had to dip for like 2 hours in the middle of it to go run and do something else, come back, and then like 2 days later, die repeatedly for 36 hours straight.
Oh, and then like Rowan just like kills you like really brutally.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like really heartless.
Less brutal than we initially wanted to.
Yeah.
I know. I remember you were like, "Oh, like you could do a little kick with the shoe," and I was
No,
like, "Okay."
like, it's like a kick.
He was wearing the big combat.
Yeah.
Initially, just to give the fun little thing, so we practiced. Rowan's also on the fight team, and so we practiced in choreo him throwing lightsabers, and one of those throws did make it in. It's in one of the fights. The Reiko and Halkard fight, the throw made it in.
It's really good.
But we actually practiced him throwing a lightsaber, like spearing Mina. Like that was Mina's death.
Oh, yeah,
but the
we were-
prop was too
yeah.
heavy, so we didn't want to do that on the beach.
It was a little dangerous.
It was a little dangerous.
That's an actual war javelin.
Because, like, obviously for the shot, the way you do that is you don't throw it into another human being. That's a little bit, you need your actors for future projects. But like the idea was he'd like throw it, and then we would have like somebody who's like an inch away, like for like they'd cut, and it would cut to me, and then the blade would be like an inch away, and you just kind of like gently toss it to Bianca. But that prop is like 20 pounds. It's too heavy, so we axed that.
Throwing a dumbbell at her.
Yeah,
It's a piece of a prop like that lightsaber.
you give the
So
lightsaber to
scary.
Triton barbell.
Ryan, I remember your audition. You filmed it for us.
Yeah, I was sick.
Yeah.
I
remember
I
that.
had to call in for that one, and I'm grateful that there was flexibility.
Do you remember what you? Was it also Luthen?
It was also
It was
Luthen's.
also Luthen's?
That was off of Anisha's recommendation.
Did you? Was it from the Discord, or did someone approach you and just say you should do this?
It was Anish. Yeah.
Jake?
Oh, my turn, right. So, I mean, yeah, I saw the QR code like most people, but it was also through like a couple TTV announcements. And originally I was like, oh, this could be fun to like be a crew member for like something that's legitimately longer than anything I've worked on. But then I was like, oh, they want people for like characters. It's like, okay. Oh, can we curse?
I would say that given how many wars I've started in other episodes, cursing is the least of our problems. I've pissed off every angry fan and Hot Topic in these episodes,
All right,
so
I was like, oh, fuck it, we ball. And I was like, and I went to auditions. And for the second one, which was the monologue, I picked one from Doctor Who. And I thought it was smart because on the first one, he had a Doctor Who scarf on, and I was like, this could be, a little clever a little sneaky move. I don't know if it made the difference, but it worked for something.
I mean, to be fair, I'm wearing a Doctor Who belt, so
I
clearly
am not-
there
I'm
is an
not biased.
appreciation. Oof.
Well, like Shane obviously like wasn't involved in the pre-production process, but your audition.
Yeah, I mean, I auditioned like the rest of the cast. The character, I will say that like each of these characters had their own unique challenges in casting, and so Reiko in particular, he was so difficult because not only does Reiko have to play this acting like Jedi character, almost like an older brother character in the film, but he has to have all the physical movements for the fighting. And in my experience, most actors are either really good at acting or they're stunt people, but they're not typically Bolt. So that one, I think we went through like a series of rounds of auditions.
Oh, there were
and
a lot
callbacks.
of fight calls.
Yeah, for that character. It ended up being a thing where it was just like fitting the balance. But I did Luthen's audition because initially I was trying to get his role. Actually, because like the way the characters end up in the film and the archetypes they're based off of are like they're minutely different, but like the character of Halkerd in pre-production, he was envisioned as like a modern fascist. Like he was based off of modern fascists, how they speak, how they move, how they talk, and so I love playing villains, so I thought it would be fun. But then it went in the complete 180 opposite direction.
Christoph Waltz impression.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought that was a good choice because I think it would be a little goofy if Halkerd was taller than everyone he kills.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, you know,
Well,
just
I mean,
tall man just murders a bunch of
I mean,
short
that's just
people.
I mean, that's just real life.
That's just normal,
That's just reality.
average.
That's just the Smurfs cartoon. Like,
because like Shane, like you also like wrote it. So like, was that weird for you? Like,
yes, because okay, the fun thing about being production and being in front of the camera, that's like I say fun, but like ironic fun, not yippee I can't wait fun. Is that when you see each part of production, you have different parts of your brain that you have to turn on and off. So like for script writing, that took like a month, and we went through like 9 or 10 drafts. There were like 7 people in the room who wrote the story. We had like 4 of them who pored over each draft to be like, can this fit canon? Are we going to break canon? Does everything we've mentioned happen before? Does this make sense in the universe? Just this insane amount of time. So when you're in that moment, like you have the writer's brain turned on, but like once it goes into casting and to pre-production, like you have to turn off that brain where like we had a few production meetings that were in the transition and I'm like, okay, the script is delivered. And they're like, cool. Any other words you want? I'm like, nope, it's delivered. I'm done with script. Script is done. Great. And the only time the writing brain turned on at all during production is if we had to like tweak something for pacing or for time or for, you know, production or whatever. But so doing that then with cast, like, and being in cast, it means that you have a vision when you write, you have a vision when you're producing, and then all of that turns off and your brain turns into a blank slate so that you can be directed and you can work through the character. So it's like this weird thing where you feel bipolar because you're just swapping between different emotional states at any given time. But it's fun. I had fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Yeah.
well, for the rest of you guys, like, did you guys have experience doing anything? Because like me personally, like I directed this and I've never directed anything in my life, so I kind of just said, yeah, fuck it, we ball, and like.
Ballers.
Yeah.
And like it is what it is, you know. But I know like Rowan, like you did like theater.
I dabbled in theater. I was in the UCSD production of Heathers as ensemble, and it's very different from film, obviously, because, well, for one thing, theater is kind of the opposite of film, where you just rehearse again and again and again, and you only have one performance that counts. Whereas for film, you can just do as many takes as necessary, and there's some fun in that. I do enjoy just having the script, rehearsing on your own, and being able to perform that role again and again and again until it's refined. And so that's my experience with film and theater.
Do the rest of you guys have any experience? Jake, I know you're in TTV.
Yeah, I mean, I had off-camera experience because I did TTV for not that long, though, before, like, maybe I joined, like, spring quarter my freshman year, and then I became a full member the following fall, which is when this began.
Yeah.
So just for, like, I did, like, 3 or 4 films where I was either PA or DP. Not a very good one, but, you know, films were made. And then I guess, I mean, I did, like, school plays as a kid, you know, Wizard of Oz in first grade. I cried, but that's okay.
As part of your character?
No, I got like switcherooed on. I auditioned for the Wizard thinking I was just gonna be behind a curtain with a funny microphone, getting to be as loud as I wanted, and then turns out I was the other wizard that got pulled on stage and had to be like, I'm the great power, and I cried on day 1.
Well,
So yeah, no real acting experience at all.
No, I have no prior acting experience.
Class.
I did, yeah, that's right. I took TDAC 1, and, you know, It didn't really do much to teach me any acting. It was just like reading out scripts with people. But my friends always call me a drama queen, so I guess that's part of it. Like,
that works.
I'm good at being dramatic, so I guess I incorporated that.
True statement after the beach scene.
Yeah.
Dude,
He has a thing with his eyes.
Dude, I was
Yeah,
I was like inches away from you the whole time.
The
I was
eyes?
raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And also, like, speaking like Rowan's point about like theater and like film, like I mean in film like the camera's like up in your face.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like in theater like you have to exaggerate so much more when you're on stage.
The eye vibrations make a difference.
Yeah.
I did like a middle school play. I was Eugene in Greece. So yeah, that was my experience.
I did theater up until probably about 8th grade, so...
Like theater or just like school theater?
School theater.
School theater.
Yes. It was fun, though. I would say a very little acting experience, but ironically, just after this, for work, they said, oh, you're going to be doing, like, some filming on, next week. And then turns out it was actually, like, a 10-hour, like, shoot for Amazon. So it was a shoot with Amazon, and they had,
for the Just Walk Out
for the
stuff?
Just Walk Out stuff, and weirdly enough, I don't think I could go into detail, but it was.
Did he get paid?
Yes. So my acting debut, I guess.
I've taken like 2 or 3 of the acting classes here. But before that, like nothing really. I mean, in like high school we had to do like something from like Shakespeare, rewrite it and then film it for like English class, and we did that. That was like the most on-screen like experience I had before, but nothing like major.
And Shane, I know that you've done a lot before.
Shane's the only theater kid here.
I started stage acting when I was 6. And I did it all the way through my first few years of college. I did some films, I did staged readings, I did activist theater. I was a part of a group that we would go to schools and we would do like anti-bullying presentations, but we would do them like, and we would contact the teachers ahead of time and they would send us like instances they had seen in their classrooms and at their school, and we would then act them out and then act out the effect after the fact on the people that it had happened to, which gets really dramatic because we did a school that had a school shooting like 12 years ago, and that got really heavy. But I would say in terms of acting, I was never a great like straight actor, like straight play actor. I mostly did musicals and like productions with music in it, because my character type for casting was dude with just stupid musical range that just stick him in a character bit part that sings something really high or something really low. Maybe they do something silly, maybe they do an accent, something ridiculous, and that was like my bread and butter. So like, don't judge my acting in this film as somebody who is over a decade of acting experience, because like my acting in theater and film was mostly like character roles. I was a character actor, and my reason for getting cast was like voice and singing. It was never because I could make everyone in the room cry while reading a pamphlet that I had been handed on Library Walk. It was because I could sing it in a vocal range that probably wasn't healthy. So for me, this film was like returning to my roots, but like it'd been several years, extremely rusty. So it's like I had to kind of relearn a lot of the on-camera work from essentially from scratch, just reminding myself of knowledge that I had that kind of died somewhere in my noggin that I had to like raise from the dead, Victor Frankenstein style, and hope that the monster that came out vaguely resembled the character. So yeah, lots of background and experience, but took a break, and so very, very rusty. And stepping out of comfort zone, because like this type of character, he's very serious and he's very dramatic and concerned, and he has this great monologue in the middle of it that I dreaded every moment prior to and on set doing, because it's a great dramatic monologue, and I'm not a great dramatic actor. I can do it in an Irish accent, but yeah, it was fun. But it definitely, even with background, it was a learning experience for me.
Alternative cut with Irish Reiko.
Oh, there are outtakes of like
There's a lot of
the
There's a
scenes
lot.
on the like day where we did that mega shoot day where like half of us just speak in Muppet accents.
I think we just need to do like an alt. We just need to make another movie, and one we make it a musical.
Yeah.
But we don't write any original songs. No, we just take parodies and then call it parody law, and we
The bad
get
lip sync
copyrighted.
parody.
Yeah, you know, and like, and I'm sure that'd be fine, and that'd go over great.
Seems legit.
Oh,
you know. So like, I mean, I guess just like talking about your characters, like what helped, like, did anything like help you guys like find your characters? Because for me, like with you guys, this is something that I like regret not doing, but I definitely didn't get into each of your characters as much as I would have liked. So like, did you guys do any like, I don't know, like personal like work with your character at all?
Why are you looking at me?
Well, I mean, like, just like, for example, like, I know, like, Miguel came up with a lot of, like, backstory for 1337 and a name and stuff. Rowan kind of did.
Yeah, I tried to dig into what pre-existing relationship that would be between Hellcard and 1337. I used existing Star Wars villains that I liked as references. So a lot of Rebels characters like the Grand Inquisitor and Agent Callus. Yeah. I obviously realized that Hellcard is written to be sort of a fascist and a space Nazi, as most of the villains in the Empire are, but I somewhat refrained from using real life, fascists and neo-Nazis as references for something that's just a little heavy, for better or for worse. Yeah,
Good
I
choice.
avoided that, yes.
And Miguel?
Yeah, like I came up with a lot of 1337's backstory, seeing like where he comes from. I know that there was a line that I like really worked over to see how he felt. It was when into the box scene, he was talking about his homeworld, and I know like I rewrote
He was
it.
like, I serve the same amount of people, yeah.
About like how his his whole planet was ravaged by famine, and like just imagining that backstory, and not just his backstory but also his character himself. Like, even though he's very neutral, like he hardly changes an expression because he's a soldier, but in reality, he does have a lot of moments where he inputs his humor and his true character. Like, you open it to see what he really is like inside of that armor. So I liked expanding on that a little bit and just becoming the character.
Yeah, I definitely think 1337 is the most interesting character out of all of them. Sorry. Sorry to those of you guys. I swear I don't like have favorites, but I think 1337 was the most fun to like just like have Miguel like bring things up to me like on shoots and stuff. I think that stuff is really cool because especially it's like he's just like a stormtrooper, So like during like the Cathcart shoot, he's just in the armor. Like he has like no emotion under there and he can't see anything. But then by the end, like, you see all that when he's not wearing the helmet, and it's like, that's basically all there is to say about that.
Yeah, when I first joined, I thought, I was under the impression that I was just going to be in the armor, like in the background, or like maybe just, shooting people or something. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I don't mind just being faceless character, just walking around. And then I read the script, and I'm like, I have so much to do.
Well, how about like the rest of you guys? Like for the Jedi characters, like did you guys think of any stuff that helped you on set? I guess.
I mean, I made a playlist. That was about it.
What was on it?
Playlist?
Oh God, I deleted it because I didn't actually like the majority of the songs, but like a lot of, I guess, alternative rock. I mean, it's not old rock and it's not like new rock. I don't really know how to describe it.
Just name a band.
I'm trying to figure out the names.
He's buying time.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Strokes aren't that new.
No.
So a couple of their songs are on it. like old Fall Out Boy songs.
Seth would, you know, like
Seth would.
Seth would.
It's the polar
Shotgun
opposite
a
of my real
monster.
taste, but it's Seth Wood. Yeah, I guess that's probably a good description of it. And I just listened to it the day before shoot, and then I'd hope that would do enough.
Well, I mean, I think it works
Yeah.
for the most part. I mean, because I feel like Seth's the type of person to shotgun like a beast. Have you guys heard of Beast? Beast is hard monster.
What is
Oh, like a drain?
Like a monster
Oh,
drain.
to shotgun. I was saying like a beast.
Oh,
like
no,
he
no,
just
no,
like
no,
is
no,
really
no,
good at
Which
it.
shotgun of
Seth would shotgun a beast and punch
Oh,
him.
what shotgun?
Okay.
Oh, is that like
I had the wrong
monsters with
shotgun and
alcohol?
wrong piece.
Oh, spike monsters. Okay.
It's one of those.
The way all their faces just went like, huh?
I have to look at that video. Oh my god. I think we're all.
It's all caught on video.
Yeah, we're all like
Hey, we're all gonna be trying. We're all like.
the crickets.
Oh,
I'm just saying that, you know, like you guys like dealt with it, so it's okay. But did
Yeah.
any of you guys like did you, like make playlists? You guys think of anything like
I tried meditating.
meditating?
Yeah.
And
My
how was
character's
that?
very like, you know, she's one with the Force and all that stuff. And I mean, I still think of her as a little bit of a Hermione in that she, you know, she feels like she knows everything and, but she doesn't quite know how to express it. I think that's what she could work on, you know, but because she's very much veiled by this, like, you know, I have to be calm and composed and, you know, do everything that the Jedi expect, but, yeah, you know, I think for her it's trying to communicate these things,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because something that I talked about a lot with Lucas when we were doing like the storyboard, especially for scene 2, when like you're like, what do you say? You're like, remember too the will of the Force.
Yeah.
Like that part, and then in one of the scenes where you guys are in the living room and then like you guys just came back from like your shift at like the coffee cart and like you guys are arguing and then like you're like your anger only takes you closer to the
Yes.
edge. Which
Only darkness lies.
When we were storyboarding that, what I told Lucas to write was just, we're gonna pan to you, and then it's just mystical interjection. Mystical interjection.
No, that one makes sense.
Yeah.
I can
No,
feel
I
what
see
that
it.
means. It's like
Yeah,
One for 3.
I think
She just interjects mystically.
she's almost a little Galadriel, not from Rings of Power esque.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah.
you know we have.
She just
I mean,
talks.
yes, she talks. She has the long robe.
Yeah.
You know, with all the. It's very, very elven, I think, on set. There were a
She's
couple.
a crystal girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has some crystals.
Yeah, and then also something when I was talking when Liam was like doing like the costume,
Yeah.
I was like,
Ryan.
you need to make
Oh,
Tylea's
oh,
costume.
They were so
Put the hands in the sleeves.
Yeah.
Because how I was envisioning it initially was like after Reiko and Yavis have their training fight, you just walk up with like
Yeah.
the Minecraft in the picture. But like that did not work.
No, I don't think so, but-
like that's what I was seeing in my mind.
Yes. No, and I think the costume was great. I absolutely love
very
my
flowy
costume.
sleeves. They're great. Yeah, the costumes are top tier
Oh yeah.
for everyone. Well, Bianca, do you have anything for Mina?
I would say it was probably less of like, you know, like I didn't make like a playlist or anything like that. It was more like from like scene to scene. I feel like there's a lot of parts where I'm either like yelling or being like somewhat like emotional or something. So it was more like for those scenes like beforehand trying to like get into that like state of mind. I know for like the ending scene, like when we had the rehearsal, I was like real like when we weren't doing it, I was like real like quiet, like trying to like stay in that space because it was like really hard. But it was more just like for each thing, like, you know, the scenes with like Mina and like Seth, then there I'm like usually it's like me being annoyed and stuff, and so, you know, I was kind of like trying to like think how I would feel, like think of real life scenarios where I kind of felt that way arguing with like cousins or friends or anything, you know, just trying to get that same like energy.
Well, I remember on one of the really long shoot days, we went to Bianca's car.
Oh my god.
Because there were a couple lines, and I think you had to yell.
I had to
some of them,
yell.
and you were very nervous for
And
that.
I didn't know. I was so nervous. We like stepped out so I could yell like in the car, in the parking lot where like no one could hear me. Cause like I just didn't, it's yelling's hard.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Well, I mean, for all you guys that had like emotional places to go, I think that's really like Bianca, Miguel, Shane, and then I think even Jake. Even it wasn't like emotional, like sad, but you had to like get loud.
Oh yeah, that was bad. I
It's like-
I couldn't. That word still haunts me.
Carabas!
Stop.
Anytime you see Shane
legendary.
just yell Carabas in his face, and he's gonna get like traumatized.
And have like war flashbacks.
I said cowabunga.
That one was so funny.
Corellia too.
Yeah, but I didn't know what that meant.
Well, yeah, I'm not for all you guys. Like, where do you guys go to for those scenes? Or I guess, like, especially you, Bianca.
Oh my!
Like you had to scream, you had to like cry, almost. You had to die.
Oh,
Like
Dying is hard.
where do you like?
Dying is
get
I
out?
don't know. I know, like, when I'd be, like, driving over, I'd be, like, practicing in my car because, like, oh, no one can hear me in my car, It's just, like, trying to, like, get in that mindset, But it's still, like, hard. I don't know. I know, like, when we had to do it, it was a little easier, like, on the 20-hour film day. Like, what was good is that it was at the end of the day where we had, like, that bigger scene.
Yeah.
So by then, you're, like, tired, a little sleep
Yeah,
deprived.
yeah.
So it, like, helped like a lot for that day, especially in comparison to like rehearsing it in like a room where it's like
Yeah.
really quiet. But then when we had to do like the audio for
the
it,
ADR.
I don't know like if everyone heard, but like when I had to do those scenes where I had to yell and stuff, I literally had to step out and like I did like some jumping jacks and stuff to try to like sound tired, and also because I was like, oh my gosh, it's just so hard when you have to just get to that place with like no lead up,
Yeah.
So I don't even know how it worked out, but I'm glad it did.
ADR was fun. I remember doing a bunch of push-ups and then grunting for half an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, how did that go for you guys?
No, go ahead.
ADR wise, because like I struggled until he put a metronome on for me, because I couldn't keep time with my actual like lines.
To grunt?
No, I had actual lines for my ADR, but like I couldn't get the timing perfectly until we used like a metronome and I could like count beats in my head. Damn. Did you need a metronome, or was it like all pretty intuitive?
I mean, I was able to follow that like fine. I
I
didn't
remember
much
for
know for that.
Bianca's, I was in
Oh.
the car driving down to San Diego when she was doing her.
Yeah, we had him on the
session.
phone. So on top of like having to do it there, then we had him on the phone too. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Is it just for the big scene?
Yeah.
But from what I could hear, it went well.
Great job.
So.
I guess mine was just like a lot of the times where it's like in the middle of a conversation, so it's like a
Yeah,
little quip. So maybe that's why I needed the metronome. But I'm glad to know this. We can go back to Miguel now.
Well, I mean, I was gonna ask like where you went for the big scenes, the big scene.
For those scenes, like I mentioned before, I really try to get into the character. So like, not method acting because I didn't actually become him, but like really trying to get into him, and I channeled like past memories to like. Okay.
I'll say it later.
Okay.
What is
Something. I think we've killed them.
Okay. Anyway, so ignoring that, I channeled the character and also like past emotions, experiences, memories, like to make me how I would have felt in that situation, but also how I have felt. So like in cases where I would be angry, I would think of moments where I was angry in my life and like incorporate that into it. And especially the final scene where I'm like in tears or like really emotional, like thinking I'm conflicted, just drawing on again past experiences to get, and the character itself to get into that moment. And then for the ADR, yeah, that was that was a challenging experience too, because like Bianca was saying, when you're in the moment, it feels totally different than when you're in the room. Like I had to hyperventilate myself so I could get into like to be able to say the lines as I would have delivered them in person. So yeah, it was challenging but rewarding.
Jake?
Oh, what? Oh, he said it method acting, and I just pictured like him with the helmet on, staring at a mirror, listening to like, Radiohead or something. I'm sorry.
For me, when it comes to drawing inspiration for your character, I found that turning on your frustration brain was easier than turning on your cheeky asshole brain, because that's kind of how my character is. So for me, it came from a place of drawing from places of frustration and stress, and translating that in the scene through the character into being a pompous, pretentious asshole. And drawing inspiration from other people I've known in my life who are kind of like that.
Shane?
Character work. So my thing with Reiko is, honestly, most days that I had either a rehearsal or a day of filming, I reviewed the lines literally that morning. Because for me, when I act, a big problem that I face in my own process is that I'll overthink what my character is doing, and I'll over process what I should be doing for my character, and it just comes out weird. It comes out stilted. It comes out like the facial expressions are very off. And so in order to avoid that, for me, I guess the best expression, in my opinion, for me, comes out when it's fresh. And so Reiko is, I think, one of the easier characters in terms of slipping into, because he does get emotional at one point, but like 90% of Reiko's steady state is just quiet frustration. Like he's the guy he's very disappointed in the class the entire time. And so like that's not necessarily the hardest thing to like slip into, because it's like a steady state. Like you get there that morning and you slip into that, and especially if you're tired, you're cranky because it's early, right? Slipping into that like gruff, like they just want to make sure they get this down, like type of teacher mentality and like older brother mentality of I gotta take care of these freaking middle child and young child kiddos, right? That get all the preferential treatment I never got, right? But like slipping into that is really easy when you're tired and cranky and are like jittery because you're operating on like 17 cups of coffee and like you're very cranky. But like getting into like the emotional scene, I don't know, that was like his monologue was really tough to dig into, because like it digs into like really dark themes, and for me, I don't visualize instances, I visualize like emotions that I've had in the past. So like when I'm doing that monologue, like the emotions that are being visualized, I'm trying to draw upon, like I literally was picturing all the times I knew something or someone who died, like in that monologue. That's what I was trying to draw from, because it's like he 180'd in just one scene, and in all the other scenes of the movie, he's just quietly frustrated. But one scene,
That was early
like,
too, right?
yeah.
That was an early like scene. That was
Yeah.
not like you didn't get to spend a lot of time like with the beach scene.
No, yeah, it like literally for that scene, like a character walks in and he's just like immediately like grieved and in bereavement, but he's trying not to show that he's in bereavement, because he very much has the oh god, what's the character from Encanto, the strong sister,
Luisa.
Yeah.
Lisa. Yeah, he's very much got that going in his life, where he feels like he has to hold up the family unit. Like he can't ever get too close or too personal or too emotional, because he's supposed to be like kind of like the stable rock in this ocean. He's not the glue that keeps things together on the rock, but he is the rock that's the foundation that it stands upon, right? Like and so it's like that moment where like it's like you're trying to dive into an emotional state, but you're also trying to hold back from diving into that emotional state, because you're playing a character who's like he's in grief, but he's trying really fucking hard not to show he's in grief. So that was a really tough scene to kind of. I still don't feel like I got 100% into that headspace for that scene. Like, that's one of the scenes, like, if I could go back and re-perform a scene or refilm a scene, it would be that one, because it's like a thing where it's like, I don't think I got enough into that headspace for him, because it's just such a weird, conflicting, challenging, like, emotional state to create.
Well, for like all you guys, I guess, like, are there any, like, I guess just like what stuff like sticks out to you guys from like filming and shooting on set? Well, because I mean, like, also like Rowan, you like worked on props. Shane, you worked on a lot of like the production stuff behind the camera. But like for the rest of you guys, and Jake, I know you did as well. But also just like for the rest of you guys, like, I don't know, like do you guys like see something cool, like learn something? I don't know, like that sounds dumb. Like, what did you learn?
What did you learn in class today?
So, like,
did you make any friends?
But basically, yeah, like.
I mean, I think for me, I don't know if this is really along your exact question, but I really enjoyed the downtime in between shooting. I think that's where, we created the most memories, as cast members. I learned how to make memes on the fly.
Yeah, those were.
It was overall. I think those were some of my highlights.
Yeah, I guess just favorite memories from
Yeah,
set,
yeah.
I think, is what I was trying to say.
I like the memes. I remember during the mega shoot day, everybody has been there since 6 a.m., 7 a.m. But my character... 4 a.m.
That was before. Not you.
I'm so sorry.
Those makeup days were rough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody with
I think I got there at 5 to help set up equipment.
Yeah.
I got there at 10 and crawled through Liam, our prop designer's balcony.
That's on video.
That is on video, yes. And then we took a bunch of photos of the Jedi dead on the ground.
Yeah.
Very spoilery shots. But we also got a lot of pictures of characters in half costumes,
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
which was very fun. Any thoughts on that, Bianca?
Oh my gosh. The memes, we should have done a final count of how many pictures I got with me in various forms of blue or like half blue with like characters that I looked like. Oh my gosh. There were so many, and yeah.
Well, it's just difficult to eat with makeup on.
Oh yes, I had to like take off part of my makeup like around my mouth, and it happened to be the day we were making memes all day. So like half the pictures, I'm like trying to cover my mouth, but it was just. I don't think I can see blue the same ever again, or hear the term Power Ranger.
I like the Sonic the Hedgehog impression.
Violet, you're turning violet, Violet.
I forgot the best one. I think. Oh, I forgot his name.
The annoying orange one.
Oh my god.
What?
We made you an annoying orange character.
Did I see this?
Oh, you did.
Was the I forget. Oh my god, who was it? The guy.
Megamind?
Oh
We had that too, I think.
Is this
no! I forgot his
accessible?
name.
Oh my gosh, I can take
Jesse
this off.
Pinkman?
Oh, come on.
Why are you blue?
Well, Brian, do you have any fun makeup stories?
Well, like every time like I did anything, because I'm not used to like having like full makeup.
Yeah.
It was just like fighting the urge to like not touch my face the entire time.
There were so many times when Liam would
Yeah,
run up
there were
to the
so
guy
many
and just kept,
touch-ups.
like-
Because apparently like something about the paint wasn't good and ended up being crusty a lot.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and so like there's my character had some grapples, so like I just get smeared all over Shane's costume, and we had to shoot that drop like 20 times over like 2 days, and like not including the practice.
Literally, like we were getting creative at one point with our fight, like cameramen, because we're like, can you just like not show this part of Reiko's arm because he's got Iavis all over him.
I'm pretty sure there is one shot where like the green wasn't fully off, so like we were coloring And like, it's not obvious when like I don't think it will be obvious, but just like when you have like that color setting on where like it has like all like the colors and like you just see like a blotch on Reiko's arm and it's just there.
That drop like kind of traumatized me because we were in order to. That was also like the fight scene that we did for that was also the one that we did for the live performance, and so we also had all of the practice for that as well. And then for the actual performance, like all of the drops up until the actual performance were fine, and then I got freaking yeeted, and like my back was tweaked for like a week. It was pretty bad.
The performance was like on concrete, and so we were like trying to be real gentle and all that, and I think like my boot got caught on like fabric from his costume or something, but like he just straight drops like 1.5 feet. And like you could see it in like there's videos of the performance that we did for the like May the 4th week screening where you just see it and it's like it's a brutality. You look at it and you're like, this hurts to watch. Like it's rough.
Did you guys sustain any physical injuries from fight?
That last day. The last day was so bad.
Bianca seems to be really.
Oh well, so when we were shooting, like, again, on the big shoot day, I mean, I had, like, some bruises from, like, you know, the kicks and falling on the sand, but I don't know if, like, other people caught this, but one of the times when Rowan went to stab me, it actually hit me in the chest.
Sorry for that.
And, like, we didn't stop. We kept going. Oh, no. And so I was like, I stopped for a little bit because I was like, oh, I don't know if anyone noticed, but then no one noticed, so we kept going. And I was like, okay, and I had to remember my lines, but I was like, oh, that really hurt. And then like a few days later, I had a massive bruise like this size on my chest. But it didn't like hurt. It didn't like hurt, but in the moment, I was like, oh.
The disclaimer, we did have safety people on set, so just for people watching the podcast, don't think that we're like recklessly endangering our actors.
No, it was like one fluke. It was like one fluke time because it was like dark and like I don't know if I moved.
That was at the end of the long shoot day as well.
The end of the long shoot day, and
we had some people like split up so that we could try to secure another site for filming that day. Yeah. So it was pretty distributed.
And the oh god.
The other injuries.
Again, disclaimer that we did have safety people on set. We ran a very safe set, but the challenge when you have this many fights in a film is that every single small accident adds up. And as it turns out, so like we had Mega Shoot Day, right? For most of y'all, Mega Shoot Day was like we got all your scenes done and out of the way. For two of us, that was not our last Mega Shoot Day, because me and Rowan did 2 8-hour nights back to back.
Before I flew back to Malaysia.
Before he got on a plane, I had commencement the next day, and he sat next to me at commencement. It was funny because every single fight thing for our fight team went off pretty smooth throughout the whole production. Like there weren't any big significant like screw ups or injuries until those 2 nights where like I don't know, when I went to commencement the next morning I could barely walk because both of my knees were incredibly like baseball sized swollen. One of my feet like tweaked some muscle kind of severely, so I had a huge limp. I had 3 or 4 gashes on my face from like trips and falls, and because it was night and it was a forest, and like there was once I think that I got hit right here just from like a random fluke with a lightsaber blade that left like a nice little flick the next day. Like my wrist from wielding the stupidly heavy prop for 16 hours straight was I literally I could barely grip with one hand. Like I couldn't hold things. And so it's funny because like this man was sitting next to me like on the day where we're like, yeah, we're graduating, and I'm just like, yeah. Like, oh, hold on, let me old man get up to get my like. It was great. It was great. But yeah, that's probably the most fucked up I've gotten from a production ever. But that is kind of it comes with like we had to get it done. It was 2 8-hour days, And like all in all, for the fact that we have a lot of like kind of wild stunts in this. Like we throw lightsabers in this film. Like for having that and for like having to do fights for that many hours on honestly not enough sleep on a student film, by the way, with no budget. So like we don't have the funds for all of the like multi-million-dollar safety crap that Hollywood uses in these productions. We had to make do with what we had. Multiple characters fall. My character falls onto his face repeatedly over the course of an hour. So like for that, I will say that like I'm really pleased with how we did safety. Because like nothing was broken, there wasn't any like major wounds. Like I was really messed up after those 2 days, like severely messed up. But like a week later, I was fine, and I was back up and running because all of it was like the swelling was from impacts where like I screwed up a parry and a strike got through and it hit the knee. And like it was always like right here, and it was like 7 or 8 times. But like that goes down and the bruise goes away because it's not like you broke a bone. There's no wound or anything like that. It just hurts. The grip strength returned because it was just overusing a muscle. The foot healed. Like everything like turned out fine. So in that sense, yeah, it was all fine in the end. So in that sense, I'm proud of us. But man, oh man, I think I could safely say that I have blood, sweat, and tears in this production.
Well, like Rowan and Jake, for your guys' like hand-to-hand stuff, did you guys accidentally punch each other at all?
I kicked him once.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I feel like I punched
He
him
doesn't
sometimes.
remember it.
No, it wasn't actually during filming. It was during a practice.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were practicing on the grass, and I slipped on a hook kick, and so I was like falling over mid-kick, and he stood up early at the same time, and I whacked him right
I
in the
remember
side
that.
of the head.
Yes, I remember how that.
We did all the checks. He was fine.
I slipped. He stood up early, and it was just we had to take a 5.
He was fine. He was fine. Disclosure, he was fine.
Okay.
By the end of the all-nighter, some of the non-contact hits were contact.
I don't remember if you actually did you run into the glass during actual
Did I?
I don't because I remember I didn't actually hit you, but you like took the effect.
Yeah, no,
and you ran into Liam's door.
There's a shot on camera where like he gets hit and you just like I'm looking away too when it happens and I just hear like a hit second thud and I'm like, what in the hell, did we break something? And
I definitely tripped and fell a few extra feet there.
Yeah, the boots did not help.
Oh, no.
I don't know how you did all that in those.
The boots were Liam's boots, and they're great boots, but they're a little small for me. So across the couple months that we were filming, the boots would just tear slightly more and more in the inside. So by the end of it, my feet were overhanging about an inch.
Don't tell Liam.
Boy,
Oh, Liam
you got
knows.
them back.
Liam's got the shoes back, and apparently they're fine.
Liam could just maybe he thought he grew.
Oh yeah.
That's one thing that I can speak of, at least. That I don't know if you guys are gonna like be able to see, but the magic of editing truly is powerful.
oh yeah, I will say that for people who listen or if you're watching the video of this podcast and you decide to do a fan film, take whatever time you think you need for filming, editing, effects of your fight and quadruple it.
I would quadruple it for everything.
Yeah, but like those, the edits for the fights, like I have seen every single edit to the fights because that's the fight director's job. We direct the fights, but like we went through like I think one of the scenes we got up to like edit like 10 or 11 of like different cuts. There were 2 alternate versions of the Reiko versus Halkard fight. There was 2 versions of the Seth v. Halkard fight. Like
2 or 3 versions of the training fight. In
Yeah.
the forest.
So like take the time you think that you need and just quadruple that because it's so much. But luckily it looks really good because we have good editors, and the performances are solid. So go team. But But yeah, anticipate that. Like, we knew when we started this, that was probably going to be the longest part of filming and the longest part of editing, and somehow we underestimated it. Yeah.
Like, what's one thing you guys like the most about your characters? I know that's kind of hard for you, Rowan.
Okay, I can.
Rowan's gonna be like, I love everything about this character.
Perfect.
He's
Ideal.
exactly.
He's literally me. No. I liked the costume very much. Liam did an amazing job wearing the costume. Just felt so. It was so fitted and very mobile. Like, I never felt restricted in any of the fights. It was breathable, and I was amazed and in love with it the first time I got into it in a Price Center toilet. So.
Thank you.
Important detail.
Very important detail.
I mean, this is the detail they're tuning into this podcast for, right?
Fair, yeah, you don't get to see that in the movie.
The behind the scenes tidbits.
Oh.
I guess I'll say I feel like Mina was a pretty like relatable character, you know. I liked, you know, she was like, you know, a little snarky like at times, like in the beginning, you know, when the Imperials come over and stuff, and then to like, you know, when she's being upset at like Seth and stuff, and it was fun while it was like challenging, you know, having to go from like, you know, those emotions to like later, you know, being really like, you know, emotional and stuff. It was fun to get that like range, you know. It was really fun to play her, and I liked it. Yeah.
I really enjoyed Tylia's devotion to something. You know, it was very fun to, you know, be this very esoteric, like, hori ho, you know, beware the darkness, you know, kind of person.
I feel like you should have done like some accent work.
Yes. Yeah, no, I can totally see her with like, I don't know, the whole British accent, you know, just like solidify things. I don't know if I would have had time to get that one down, but no, she was very fun, you know, similar to Rowan's character. Costume was fantastic. It was so fun to walk around in like long robes. Yeah.
I think costumes for all you guys definitely should be the best thing about your characters.
Yeah.
But other than the costumes.
Other than the costumes.
For me, I got the chance to swing a lightsaber at people and also eat some mash on camera. So that was pretty fun.
Ray oatmeal. I'm so happy, by the way, with how the salting turned out.
Way too much salt.
It was pretty funny. It stunk the back of my trunk for a while. 'Cause that was the all day scene, and yeah. Anyway.
That was the first thing we filmed that day. You eating.
Yikes. Well, for my character, I mean, honestly, there's not too much to like, because, you know, he could have been a lot better were circumstances different. But I guess a redeeming quality that he could have is his devotion to his beliefs, I guess. Oh wait, no, actually no, scratch that. His humor, I guess that's the thing I like most about him. Like, he does, even though he's a serious character, he does interject his humor, and that makes him more likable.
I think especially during Sabak, for sure, you see that playful side of him.
I don't know. Seth was kind of goofy. He's like one of those people who's like, I got two wolves inside me. It was kind of fun. I mean, the Sabak scene was, like, I guess the most interesting for me to film as him, but it was also the most difficult because I also had no idea what I was doing. I was given 1 3-minute scene, but I mean, I looked at nothing but Donald Glover. So it was really hard to actually figure out the game, but it was also fun to play, I guess, kind of like, you know, a cheater, I guess. Or like, you know, to like play that, talking to a droid. You know what, we'll go with that. I like talking to a robot. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, I'd say that for Reiko, full honesty, there's not too much that I like about Reiko, because I think that, like, yeah, he's technically a good guy, but he's a very stunted good guy. Like, he's got in his character and in his writing a lot of the problems that we typically say aren't a good thing. Like, he doesn't express his emotions very well. He's always, like, tamping down his temper and just like bottling shit. And that's not healthy. And I would say I loved the fights, but they did a number on me, so I'm gonna skip past those. I will say that like his one redeeming quality that I like is he has these very, very rare moments where you kind of get an inner look at how he's working, and he's incredibly sassy. Like it's like very like it's the slight but it's like the slightest glimpses like in some of the dialogue where just like it's when like you're like, oh, it's not the will. I'm like, nope, my will. Like where he just like he'll like clap back in the moment, like just in the sassiest of way, and he does it like maybe 2-3 times in the film, but at least it hints that like, I don't know, if he existed in a universe where all his friends hadn't been murdered in front of his eyes, he'd be a pretty like hilarious person to be around, because he'd just be the sass master of the party. He'd probably be the dude who's like quietly making the most savage memes in the corner the entire time.
He's a Reddit mod.
Oh god. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I just like, it's one of those things where again, it's like his circumstance. It's a thing where you don't see it come out very often because of his circumstance. So I do appreciate the few moments where he just I don't know, he just has that fun little flair. But other than that, please don't be like Reiko. If you're on the internet watching this and be like, I strive to be like this character, please don't. To talk about your emotions and all of that, that's called being healthy. Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about my character.
The like breakout star of the film is over here.
I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Nez.
Nez.
He's your coworker. How could you?
Oh yeah.
I think the best part about Nez is how he doesn't give a fuck. Terrible tragedy. And that's all I'll say is terrible tragedy. And you guys will see when you guys watch.
This dude really was like, oh no. Anyways, so like,
It is literally the scene after Jake gets violently choked out by
like
Rowan.
morning shift was murdered or
Yeah.
And then Rowan and Miguel are coming to get more food. And I was like, yeah, they were killed.
he delivered it so deadpan too that when I watched the first cut, I was like, holy shit, this is the best moment in the film.
Do you guys have any last words you want to say to our viewers, listeners about the movie? Even though this might be coming out after it premieres on Friday?
I want to give a shout out to Lucas because there was one shot that he did on the final day that he was so excited about that he ran down the hill in the dark with the camera in one hand. And all of the fight data that we had.
And like my very nice cannot replace it camera.
and then he trips on a log on the way down, and then he just like does like this roll, and then he lands on 2 feet, and then and then everybody's just kind of like looking at him and is like, do you know what just happened? And then he was like, no, I just kind of blinked out. So yeah, shout out to him for not destroying the camera and the fight data from the last day, and from sticking the landing.
Yeah, that was the best safety roll I have ever seen in my life. And not only did he execute the best safety roll, he did it carrying $2,000 worth of equipment. And it was fine. There wasn't even, like, it was on dirt and grass and all that. It didn't even get a leaf on the camera. Like, the camera was pristine.
Any other words to our viewers? The people who might be watching the film? Anything you want them to go into it knowing?
Go watch the film.
They've probably already seen it by now, though. This is
Oh.
Thank you for
Watch
watching.
it. Do the thing. It's pretty cool.
I'll say, keep an eye on more stuff from the club, and keep an eye on like our YouTube channel. If you're in the Discord server, keep an eye on announcements there, and keep an eye on like all of the social media, because this project was a lot, but it's definitely not the last like creative and interesting project in general that the club is considering doing. And they've got a lot of really cool events and projects that they're already discussing for this year, next year, future years that They're all different kinds of things, but
It's
a
not going
thing.
to be another 40-minute movie.
No, it's not gonna be another 40-minute movie, but they've got some really, really cool stuff that they're working on that you should definitely pay attention to and just keep checking back on the social media every now and then, because there's just really cool stuff coming down the line, and this is just the first of many dope things coming up.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say, big thank you to all of the cast, not just, sorry, wrong word, all the crew. There we go. Yeah, big thanks to the cast, guys. No, big thanks to the crew. I mean, this, as you just said, was a really big project. And there's, obviously we're the ones here at this roundtable, but there were, many people who, put in just as many hours, especially for those long shoot days, a lot of folks behind the camera. So, big thanks to them for really making it possible.
We shot a lot at Liam. I feel bad for him on the psychological
Liam's
side, because
Exactly.
all in. we shot a lot at his apartment and kind of trashed it over the course of filming, and then subsequently tried to clean it up, only knowing that we were going to come back in like a week. Yeah, and not only that, but
the
Liam
fight
had to
scene,
be in almost every shoot as well, just to make sure that the costumes got patched whenever something happened. So there's a lot that went in, besides the people that are directly on the camera.
So, listeners/viewers, if you appreciate what Liam has done, Liam wants you to go out there and write fan fiction, and also donate to the GoFundMe to help reimburse Liam, and also, yes, write fan fiction.
Yeah, and I'll give a shout out too, since we're shouting out crew. I do want to shout out my fight team, because obviously both Rowan and Ryan are here, but the thing that behind the scenes you don't see is every fight that's choreographed, we had to spend a month and a half choreographing it, which means that they had 5 to 6 times the rehearsals that everyone else had. They put themselves through 5 to 6 times, because every single movement you see on screen, all 3 of us did at some point leading up to test it and to work it and to tweak it and to make it work. And so we had go through just a huge iterative process, and it wouldn't have looked as good or happened at all if I didn't have a solid team there to back up my insanity and help me test things out that I had in my head, but I hadn't 100% had a chance yet to test in person, because it made the film that much better for it. So
Yeah, definitely shout out Zach and Lucas. Zach is huge. Zach is behind the camera right now.
Yeah.
He's literally right there. But
Someone turn the camera down.
yeah, no,
Turn the other camera. A wrap around.
yes. Anyways, Zach.
just doing a blurry shape.
Just big shout out to them, because they definitely helped me a lot, and I learned a lot from both of them. Definitely on set, they helped keep me sane, and lots of cool stuff on camera. A lot of it is them, so it's very cool. So definitely shout out Zach and Lucas.
Big shout outs to Brian, our director,
Yeah.
for putting everything together.
Okay, follow the Instagram. Yeah. And make sure, just keep posted for more events from Star Wars Club.
Stay tuned.
Anything else? Last words, final words.
May the Force be with you.
Remember too, the will of the force.
Remember to the will of the force.
No fish.
Do you guys want to say the last thing all together? Okay, we say Triton Squadron out. Okay?
Okay.
Triton Squadron out.
Got it.
Okay, you ready? On 3. Okay,
Do that for the
1.
middle camera.
Yeah.
Nice.
1, 2, 3.
Triton Squadron out.